What am I on the inside? That's exactly what we're gonna figure out. How's it? Yo, W, cut from the barber. Dang. Duel, you look ugly as bricks. Duelface, your words mean nothing to me. I allowed you to insult me. You're not even real. Whatever, man, do your fudging intro. How's it going, guys? My name's Duel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. And today, we're gonna be going over everything that we know so far about Nose Gun, and maybe even be able to predict its ending. Now, if you haven't heard of Nose Gun before, you might be living under a rock. Currently, the trailer is sitting at well over 500,000 views in a couple of days. Made by Valentine, who I've literally seen his sub count go from like, I think it was 10K or 6K now to close to 20. The Kickstarter was finished in a day and has now 4x'd its initial goal. And currently, the trailer is sitting at number 6 on the hype ranking of the week, behind Isopod Eats Whipped Cream, some Undertale song, I guess, 2 indie artists, I think. And of course, because it's the internet, what else would be at number 1? Kinda Homeless, Funk. Bro, you need to listen to this, hold on. Why? Okay, so yeah, you get the gist. Now, I don't know if my opinion matters to you or not, but I've literally watched this trailer well over 50 times, even before I thought about making this video. It does everything so right, and I should probably just show you if you haven't seen it before instead of just yapping. I have a lot more that I can say, but let's start with the trailer, just in case you haven't seen it before, so we can all be on the same playing field here. I'll let it speak for itself. Inside a machine, filed between the early bird and another with a broken wing. He'll be important later. Dude, everything about this is so gorgeous. Holy crap. Replace this machine with another machine. Dress him up in turpentine, fill him with steam. Work as hard as twice the men, for twice the hours, half the pay. It's freaking 3D pixel art, man! How'd you do that? Cut my pay, then the boss man gets his way. So I'll ride. Why does the robot bleed? Oh, I thought I saw a bug. Dude, I love that keyboard at the end, a little electronic piano. Support us on Kickstarter. Tell me that doesn't literally check every box for the perfect game trailer. It is absolute cinema through and through. So now we're gonna go over the Kickstarter and we're gonna analyze the trailer simultaneously. And eventually we're gonna get to my point of predicting the ending. But Valentine, dude, you did a hell of a job on this. I remember he is a game developer, so he's done devlogs before. I've watched some of his content. He made this one, hold on, let me pull it up. Here's the video. Character designer explains why new Donkey Kong is objectively better. Now, YouTube is kind of narking on me and showing that I only watched 10%, but it is lying. I've watched the whole thing. It was cool to actually go through because I was designing Duelface at the time. This was a while ago, just drawing a couple versions of him, and it taught me like, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't put his eyes on the freaking top of his forehead so he actually looks good.
The eye placement is very important. The farther apart an eye goes, the more stupid a character looks.
This is what I'm talking about.
The more like aware they look.
Aware. What a funny way to put it. Aware. It's like this one has the IQ of like in single digits, double digits, triple digits. What a genius. Okay, all right, but that's enough of that. So the trailer opens up on this really cool puddle shot of Ironwood City, which is the city that the game takes place in. We can see a sort of like aircraft up top over here. These are our friends, that, you know, later on in the trailer come to pick us up because something bad happened to Nose Gun. We get this really cool like puddle shot showing that it was a reflection. And I'm assuming what happened here is that Nose Gun got into some sort of fight, right? He got messed up really bad and maybe some sort of distress signal went off, which is why the aircraft sorta is now like coming after him, trying to find him. So this is him like leaving the scene. We have like this cool creature thing over here that actually shows up later in the trailer, surprisingly. But the animals in this game are kind of weird. There's like just straight up dinosaurs walking around, which is kind of cool, but that's like some weird electric rat. We have this insane aura shot. Oh my God, dude, look at this. Look at the pixel art here. I'm assuming the way Valentine's done it is it's sort of like layered, right? So the arm is on a different layer and then the head connected to the body. It's all separate layers. So you can sort of create this like fluid, chunky sort of movement. You know what I mean? I'm assuming so. So we have a pan down shot and we see that the robot bleeds, which is fascinating because it's a robot. Why the hell is there blood in it? We then follow the blood droplet down as it transitions us to a missing poster, which is actually our creator. His name is the Gunsmith, and it's our mission to try to track him down through investigating a string of violent murders. Now, these murders were done by a group of serial murder bots disguised amongst the population. So we have a connection here, okay? In a human-based society, there's essentially our antagonist are these robots, but our protagonist is also the same robot. So I'm sure these humans don't think very highly of these robots, and yet we're playing as one. So there's gonna be, I'm assuming, a very interesting dynamic between these bad characters, our character, and the creator, who may have started all this from the get-go. The blood drips onto the poster as it flies off into the skyline. We then get to see that the aircraft is getting closer to Nose Gun. Thankfully, I hope he doesn't die. Please, Valentine, don't kill my boy, please. Yeah, the light shines down and illuminates him, which Valentine made a short on how he did this effect, which is pretty cool to see. And just like, bro, holy aura. What I find interesting here is the blood is not very noticeable on his body. Even here, like usually there's the droplet that's going down this sort of like mouth portion, but we really don't see much blood. But he's still covering his side, as if he removed his hand from that spot, we would see something that we're not allowed to see. And now we get a look at the main gameplay itself with this really nice looking shot. We have these like train tracks up here on the right, patch of grass on, well, his right. And this, bro, look at this car. Oh my God, the goofiest little box car I've ever seen. Right by this really, really pretty flower shop, coffee shop, whatever it may be. I don't know. I saw the pots and I thought of it. But something really cool about Ironwood is it has some semi-procedural generation, which makes me really interested to see how it'll coincide with the NPCs in the game, because as you explore the city of Ironwood, its residents go about their daily lives, shopping, eating, working, sleeping, and remembering what you do. So our actions have an impact on the game world, which is sick. I don't know how Valentine's gonna do that, but apparently he's going to. Some may ask you to track down a lost dog, so a fun side quest. Others might challenge you to race across town or beg you to deal with the dinosaurs eating trash behind their apartment. They won't leave! These aren't filler NPCs. Every character in Gun Nose is handcrafted with a unique design, personality, backstory, and schedule. You'll get to know their habits, routines, and relationships. This all is incredibly important in a noir-style game where the main gameplay loop is interrogation, investigation, and like being a cop, right? Just don't get too close, because in Ironwood, anyone can be a victim. Anyone that you get attached to or your favorite side character, especially with the procedural generation, and anyone being able to be a bad guy means any NPC can get murdered, and once they're gone for good. Whether the NPC you loved got murked or they were the killer themselves, it's something that you're just gonna have to cry about. which transitions us really nicely to the cases themselves. This is the main detective of the Bloodsuckers HQ. His name is Virgil, and he has a very interesting design, this guy. He reminds me of Dr. Wily from Mega Man, mixed with Rotor the Walrus from Sonic. You guys are seeing the resemblance here, right? It's not just me. I'm not crazy, right? The room itself is kind of dingy. He's got like this giant fan in the background. It's the only window of the space. There's boxes and papers everywhere. He's got this bulletin board to keep track of all the cases. I find it really interesting that he calls us detective in quotation marks, which correlates a lot with what we're told about him in the Kickstarter page. Virgil, lead sleuth behind the Bloodsuckers Detective Agency. He'll take any case for the right price, then dump it on you, his legally owned property. So this is kind of hammering my point of how robots are kind of treated like garbage in this world. The fact that us as Nosegun don't even have freedom. We're stuck to this guy. I mean, I'm sure we want to be detectives, but it's not like these people like us very much, to an extent. I'm sure there are going to be characters that do appreciate us. Kind of like Spider-Man, you could think about, like a vigilante sort of character. Since we already talked a little bit about Virgil and Dynamite, I think it'd be good to go over the rest of the main characters in this game. And we have this crazy cool aura shot of all of them just standing with each other. I mean, Valentine knows what he's doing with character design, man. These characters look distinct from each other. They all have different sort of colors going on, so they all visually look not only through a silhouette perspective different, but from a color perspective, they all look different from each other, which is really cool. They all have different shapes and everything. It's really well thought out. Within the chaos of this procedural city is a core cast of lively characters you'll come to rely on to help you solve cases, but they've each got secrets of their own, and you'll uncover them as the story behind your missing creator unfolds. First off, we have Dynamite, the wide-eyed rookie assigned to your murder cases. With her knack for explosives, you'll get more bang for your buckshot. Slack Ballista, an officer with sharp instincts and no patience for robots, playing detective. That's us. Wow. Earn his respect and he might have your back. So it's nice to know that some of the characters that we're working with actually tolerate us if we do the right things. Maybe there's a chance that we won't do the right things, and then, I mean, I hope nothing bad happens to him, but maybe Nosegun won't make it to the end of this game. We've been over Virgil, but Commissioner Crane is the top of the food chain in the Bloodsuckers Detective Agency, tasked with cracking the murderbot cases. She runs the department with a firm hand when she's not busy looking for a date. Pitifully sweet. Here's another look at the gunsmith, who has a very interesting design. Your enigmatic creator who has vanished without a trace. I find it fascinating that he's so short. I mean, he has like a Luigi mustache going on, and he kind of gives me like Whitebeard vibes because, well, white mustache. But I find it interesting how short and stubby the character is. You know, he doesn't really even have a neck. He's kind of hunched over, as if you could assume he's a very small character. Maybe even the size of Nosegun? I don't know. Jiminy Drive, your wisecracking AI companion, programmed by the gunsmith to manage your internal OS and run your detective systems. I like him, he's cool. I like how his portrait, he's like, you know, sort of protruding out of it. And finally, this is new to the Kickstarter actually. I think Valentine just added it like a day ago. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Unlocked at $160,000 stretch goal. I think this has a correlation to the co-op multiplayer that Valentine was talking about in said stretch goals, which I don't understand how this game's gonna have co-op, couch co-op multiplayer. I feel like with the split screen, I don't know if it'll be hard to see, but supposedly this will be one of the characters that we will be able to play as. Now, can we play as the other guys? I'm not sure, but I'm interested to see who this is. They're kind of like, what is this, hair? And is this like an eye, I guess? Are they glasses? Are these horns? I have no idea. I guess we'll find out, right? So we get these cases from Virgil, and then we work with Dynamite, who is the rookie of the game, to essentially help us with the cases, right? Let's go find the body. On this really, really beautiful, just like shot of, I don't know, is this the city? I think this is way too pretty to be a city, bro. The freaking grass and the rocks, it's really, really pretty, man. We get this really cool looking shot of Nosegun using his rocket powers, I guess. He's like on his hands right now, rolling around throughout the streets. You can see as he turns the corner behind this building and flings all this trash, you have these birds fly away due to him, you know, making them fly off. But these are pretty interesting looking birds. I don't think that's a bird last time I checked. Looks a bit more like a dinosaur to me. And I'm pretty sure if we go a little bit back in the trailer, yep, there it is. A pteranodon bird. Oh, how precious. So I guess the Kickstarter wasn't lying when it said that there are literal dinosaurs running around in this city, which, hey, Valentine, that was a great addition that you could have put in the game. Incredible. But dinosaurs aside, right, we have this really cool shot of him literally jumping from building to building. I'm really curious how we get on top of these buildings to begin with. But like, our guy is just unbelievably cool. He has really cool powers. I bet he's going to be fantastic to play as, especially if we can just bolt around the map, right? Just zoom around Ironwood with our blazing fast, like rocket boots, back boots. I'm not really sure where this is coming from. It's coming from his back. Okay, fine. Next, we get a good look at the detective gameplay itself, which still looks a little rudimentary, which is completely understandable since the game is still very much early in development, but we get a good idea of what it's gonna be like. So we get to see Nose Gun destroying this poor guy's house until eventually we stumble across a clue. And we get to see how the analyzing sort of gameplay loop works. And I find this really interesting because the gun has an HP bar and we're like burning it to find evidence. You see the HP bar goes down and the thing starts shaking. I find it interesting why we have to damage the evidence to find these fingerprints, you know? I feel like maybe a human could do it better until you realize that, remember, we're working with robot murderers here, so maybe only robots can be able to find evidence left behind by other robots, and unfortunately, it damages the goods in the process. The main gameplay loop, the cases, are semi-procedural, featuring different victims, suspects, clues, and murderers each playthrough, which is insane. I just want to point out how nuts it is for a single-player, story-driven game to have procedural elements in it, right? We really only see that with like roguelikes. We more often than not don't get single-player games that have this sort of replay value to them. That if you watch a YouTuber play the game, for example, if you then are convinced to go buy it, you can technically have a different experience than that YouTuber, which actually, now I think about it, may cause some issues if the puzzles are like really weird because we're still trying to interrogate and like go after people, right? Like a detective. So if the player doesn't know what to do and they try looking it up, they might not be able to find a solution to their problem and they might get kind of mad, but I'm sure Valentine will figure it out, right? Just like how we figured out this clown's secret identity. We cornered one of the murder bots here at this boardwalk. Super, super cool shot showing off the 3D pixel art rotation that we can do. And interestingly enough, he's steaming and then he blows up. And would you look at that? The weird bug robot murder bot bleeds. I wonder what that connection could mean. So currently, we know that we play as a robot that has the ability to bleed, and then the murder bots wear essentially skin suits, and when, okay, jigs up, you caught me, they explode out of it, and that skin suit is made out of blood. Now, it is still unknown whether or not the bots themselves have blood inside of them. That could answer a lot of our questions here. But it is very safe to say that there is a connection between the gunsmith, the murder bots, and Gun Nose. So he roars violently. We get this awesome shot of Gun Nose shooting at something with his evil red eye. I really like his design here. He kind of looks like he has a bow tie, which is pretty cool. We get to see actual gameplay of the fighting itself, which looks absolutely rad. We're fighting like this big helicopter guy, and there's these weird like totodile looking creatures. They'll come up later, they're important. Then we cut to this dude who kind of looks like, I mean, he's a ladybug, but he looks like the rhino mixed with like a Bakugan, mixed with that one Ben 10 monster. But I just love the contrast in these fights, you know? We're having these such bombastic battles in this super gloomy, noir, like city environment with all these greens and these realistic sort of decorations and scenery in what would otherwise be a very chaotic and unrealistic battle. I really like the contrast there. The Kickstarter talks a little bit about the murder bots, and we get to see two more that we never got to see in the trailer. This fruit fly and whatever this bug is. He kind of looks like he has like cowboy boots. If anyone knows what this creature is based on, let me know. So it kind of goes into detail on how we figure out their secret identity. We track them down, we look for clues, some leave evidence, some don't, like I discussed earlier. But what I find interesting is that we get a list of their names. And if you noticed, Gun Gut, Gun Eye, Gun Tongue, Gun Heart, Gun Lung, Gun question mark. We don't have access to this one yet, but all of these guys are named after guns. So not only does Gun Nose have a connection to the murder bots through the blood that we witnessed, they literally share the same name scheming. Gunsmith, you are not creative. But yeah, Valentine is planning on adding a bunch of different varieties of models of murder bots into the game. So hopefully that's gonna help a lot with variety and keeping the procedural generation of the game very fresh. I'm very excited to see what they end up being. We then get this really cool shot of another character that we don't see in the Kickstarter. It looks like an in-game cutscene of sort, and this cool samurai Yakuza guy slices these 3 fish in half. So I don't know how we're gonna beat this guy. I think we're cooked. But yeah, if I had to guess, I'm assuming that we are going after this guy because he's not a robot, right? But clearly he looks kind of villainous. I'm assuming we'd be going after him if he had some sort of connection to the gunsmith, whether they worked with each other in the past or something went wrong in their relationship and now they have bad blood. There's a reason why we're going after him. It wouldn't just be for no reason whatsoever. We then get this shot, which is absolutely insane. We're just casually fighting a kaiju in the middle of Central Park. I don't even know what's going on in this shot, to be honest. We're like, I mean, I think we're by a lake. There's a giant tree in the right side of the screen, which I don't know what city has giant trees just, you know, casually sitting around. But hey, you can expect the unexpected in Gun Nose. It's gonna blow you away with the stuff that it's gonna get away with. But yeah, I don't know. Especially because we can move the camera in this scene, I'm not really sure how this boss fight's gonna go. Because I feel like Valentine would want to use 2D sprites to sort of mimic 3D movement. So obviously animating this giant thing would be less work. But since you can move the camera around, I'm not sure if you can still do that sort of animation technique anymore. We'll have to see when the game comes out. But this, I'm assuming, is gonna be a crazy boss fight. I don't know what he's gonna do here, but it looks awesome. Oh, and the kaiju kind of looks like a mix of Ultraman and like Duraludon from Pokemon, which is pretty cool. He's so alien looking, which fits the bug theme. I like that, we're on brand. And then we get this final shot. The aircraft finally lands and finds Nose Gun flat on the ground. His eyes are a blood red from probably getting attacked, but they switch to yellow as he knows his friends are now here and he's gonna be saved. So we get this really cool shot of Slack and Dinah jumping off the aircraft, and weirdly enough, he points guns at us. I don't know if he thinks we're gonna attack him. Maybe Gun Nose went rogue for some reason. I have no idea. But Dinah is looking at us like with empathy, which is cool. I'm glad someone in this game cares about us. So Gun Nose is reaching out to either them or her. I'm not really entirely sure. I don't know if Slack is still pointing the gun at us. We have this insane shot, bro. It's so pretty with the blood coming out of his mouth. And okay, wait, if I had my theory before on him covering up his side because maybe there's a hole in it that reveals something that we shouldn't know till the end of the game. I mean, there's nothing there in this shot if we assume that both of these scenes take place simultaneously, you know, like one after the other. We get this really, really cool but kind of sad shot of Dinah just looking at Gun Nose with this like just bewildered expression, and just this crazy shot of Gun Nose, bro. The sprite work, Valentine, I don't know how you do it. And then his eye just dims to black, and as the rain pours down, he collapses into the grassy field of an abandoned alleyway. This shot kind of looks like Mother 3, which I think is really cool. I really like the sprites here. They are phenomenal. But the camera, slowly but surely, pans out of the alleyway, leaving us to wonder who the gunsmith is, what is his connection to Gun Nose, why these murder bots are doing this in the first place, why do they hate Ironwood so much. We get a really cool look at these buildings, a futuristic train, which now that I'm like looking at it really, it's got bug horns on it for some reason, so maybe everything's kind of bug themed. The city is way more futuristic looking than I thought in this shot. I thought it would be more sort of old school looking, but no, this is crazy. We have like this weird poster. It kind of looks like an alarm clock with wings and an eye, and then there's footsteps. I don't know, bro. The sign has like a snake on it, which is pretty cool. We have a blimp going off, these giant buildings, some are connected, and title card. Man, Valentine, you cooked, brother. I don't know how long it took you to make this. It is so cool. Your voice sounds amazing. I know I didn't bring it up, but Valentine sung the song, which actually we're gonna go over the lyrics of it. I want to analyze it, but just like, dude, 10 out of 10. I'm so excited to play this. But yeah, here we are at the song itself. Gun Nose OST, I'm a Machine. Kickstarter trailer version. I saw people in the comments howling, poor Valentine. Release it as a video. Release it as standalone music. I don't want the sound effects. He's like, all right, I'll post it. Now, I don't know if I would have posted it this early, like views are views, but this is 68,000 views that technically could have gone to the main video if you never uploaded it. If people wanted to listen to it as a standalone track, that's what I was doing. Why do you think I watched the trailer so many goddamn times? Either way, I want to analyze this song because it has a lot of really cool connections to the game itself. So here we go.
I'm a machine.
I mean, pretty self-explanatory, yeah?
Inside a machine.
I'm a machine inside of a machine. Not only is it hard enough for Gun Nose to live in this sort of society where we have all these corporate jobs, but he is literally a cog in the wheel, metaphorically and in actuality. Because not only do systems treat you like garbage and barely treat you like a real person in these sort of corporate jobs, but he is literally a machine. He gets even less respect than your average fast food worker.
Filed between the early bird and another with a broken wing.
Found between the early bird and another with a broken wing. So whether or not you want to be at your job or not, there are gonna be others with you, the other people stuck in the machine, and it is debatable if they even want to be there. You're gonna find all different types of people in these sort of jobs. You have the early bird, someone that is ready for the job. He loves being there. He's there on time. Maybe he wants to climb the corporate ladder. Who knows? And you have another person that they literally would rather be anywhere else but in their job, but they have to be there because they got to put food on the table, even if they are literally critically injured, which for a job of detective work, as dangerous as it is, kind of sounds a little sad.
Gliding through the moonshine.
Gliding through the moonshine. You could think of that in a couple of different ways. Maybe these people are working super late into the night, sort of going from day to night, and they work super long hours, 16-hour shifts. And obviously the metaphor of him talking about birds, right? The early bird, broken wing, gliding through the moonshine.
On that cloudy
railway, that can be the commute to the job itself. Maybe you wake up super early, the sun's barely out, everything's all foggy, it's cloudy, and you're waiting for your train to take you to whatever job you got.
Replace this machine with another machine.
Replace this machine with another machine. So if we're using our corporate job analogy, we are literally cogs in a wheels. But in this instance, Gun Nose can literally be replaced by a better new robot, right? He works better. He was made more recently. He's maybe more well equipped to the job, basically better than Gun Nose in every single way. And if that happens, he's gonna get retired. And if he gets retired, he's gonna get destroyed because he's a robot and nobody cares.
Dress him up in turpentine.
Dress him up in turpentine. So turpentine, I think, is like some sort of varnish. I looked it up a while ago. So it's used for cleaning metals, but it's also an interesting term to use here because it's very highly flammable. I don't know if that is implying anything, but I just find it interesting that the metal cleaner we're using is also something that could destroy the robot if overused.
Fill him with steam.
Fill him with steam. Again, you can think about it through the new robot metaphor, but it could also just be a person that is really, really invigorated and wants to do the job. I've seen this before where people come into let's say you could still use the analogy of a corporate job, and they have like a fire in their soul. They're like, yeah, I'm ready to do this job, and I learned a lot about it, and I've been prepping for it, and I can't wait, I'm so excited. And everyone else that he's working with is completely jaded, and they're looking at him with these sad eyes because they know a week, 2 weeks, a month goes by, and that fire is gonna go out like that. And he'll be in the same position they're in. But you could still think of it as a robot better than Gun Nose.
Work is hard.
The best lines in the song.
Twice the man.
For twice the hours, half the pay. So freaking cool that no matter how hard you work, and especially now in modern times, people feel as if like they need to work harder than people in the past. Things are just more difficult now. We're in trying times, man. Back in the day, even on YouTube, you know, you can make a YouTube video that was so much more simpler, or just playing a game, and you'd have millions of people watching it because there was less competition and there were less people trying to be better than everyone else. So it was more simple, it was more easy, it was meant for an up and coming, someone just doing it in their free time. Now, it is cutthroat out there. You need to do double the work for double the time and half the pay. Literally, you're doing more for less, and that's just kind of how life goes. Sick instrumental. So you can see there's a lot of really cool connections you can make to the game and real life through the lyrics of the song, and I'm sure Valentine relates to a lot of what's said in the song.
As long as they don't cut my pay.
As long as they don't take what I have, as long as I'm able to keep going, as long as they don't throw me away,
Then the boss man.
and the quotas are reached, and the company is happy, and I'm not getting fired,
It's his way.
then, well, things can continue on, right?
So
I'll get on that train,
on that smoking train.
and I'll work another day. Hopefully I don't die to some gun murder bot, and hopefully this game is gonna be one of the best indie games of the freaking decade, man. I'm so excited for it. I hope you guys are too. We're not fully done, but damn, man. It's so good. It's so good. I love everything about this game. I haven't had a love for an indie game like this in so long. I've been waiting for something like this, man. And I haven't seen anyone make videos on Gun Nose yet, all right? I hope, if someone makes one before me, sure, whatever. But if I'm the first, that'll be a privilege and an honor. And Valentine, if you're watching this, seriously, you're making something awesome here. We're not fully done. I have my theory I still got to do, but I'm gonna buy the game probably later today, the $20 version. Let me pull it up. Here it is, the Golden Gun for 20 bucks. The game base is 15, so super cheap and definitely worth picking up if you haven't supported the Kickstarter already. But I like the Golden Gun because you get this cool golden skin, which apparently Valentine has said it actually does something in the game. So it's not just a pretty cosmetic, but I want the pretty cosmetic. I want it. Oh, and you get your name in the credits, which I think is super cool. And there's a bunch of other different tiers here that you can look at if you're interested. I actually forgot to talk about the Totodile guys in the fighting segment of the trailer, but I think I won't. It gives you guys a good reason to learn about them yourself and check out the Kickstarter in the link in the description. I'm also realizing I never told you guys to subscribe. This video is more about the game than me, but you still should. I'll definitely be covering the release of Gun Nose and maybe even more trailers if this video does well. But alright, you guys watched until the end for a reason. With everything that we've discussed and all the ideas we theorized about, what do I think will be the big twist and the ending of this game? Well, it all revolves around the gunsmith, so let me paint you a picture. The gunsmith was a good but flawed man. Being one of the most talented creators in his field, he dreamed of successful experiments no other scientist dared to try, nor support during his endeavors. The creation of robots that can fuse with organic material. People questioned him, but his reasonings were unknown. So his friends in the field shunned his goals, so he had to reach out for financial support from an outside source. Little did he know, his angel investor hid their true intentions. Being a part of a crime syndicate that was interested in creating human-disguised robot assassins. In time, the creation of the robots was a success, but the gunsmith gave the investor too much control of the project, causing all of his robots to go rogue, except you, because he is you. The murder bots are robots surrounded by organic flesh. You are a robot with a cardiovascular system. No bones or a brain, just blood and a soul. It's the only way to explain what we see in the trailer. Valentine said we'll confront a conspiracy that lies at the heart of the city. A super advanced, tech-filled city. What rumor would spread faster than the disappearance of one of Ironwood's greatest scientists? only to discover in his dying moments he achieved his biggest goal, and in a last-second experiment created a biological organic hybrid between a human and a robot. Due to its rushed nature, it sacrificed him in the process, and the city grieved his loss. But the people, through his trauma, learned to trust Gun Nose and the idea of living amongst living robots, with the tipping point being a robot with a human soul, saving the city from the murder bots. Let me know what you guys thought about my theory in the comments below. And if you got a theory of your own, I read every comment. Post it down below and we might talk about it. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, hype, do all the algorithm stuff so my channel doesn't get thrown into the void. Hopefully you like this different style of video, and I'm still working hard on Deltarune if you're curious. Thank you guys again. I'll see you soon.